Hello, 7th graders. This week in pre-algebra, we are going to learn how to add and subtract linear expressions. This is topic lesson 6.2 and 6.3 in your textbook. Our objectives for this lesson are to add and subtract linear expressions with integer coefficients and constants. Also, to add and subtract linear expressions with rational coefficients and constants, as well as to find the additive inverse of linear expressions. Our I can statement is I can express sums and differences in simplest form. Now let's look at the vocabulary that we will use during the week. First of all, we have linear expression. This is an algebraic statement where each term is either a constant or variable raised to the first power. The table on this slide gives some examples of expressions that are linear, such as x, 3x, 2x minus 1, x plus 2. When simplified, a linear expression cannot contain a variable in the denominator of a fraction or an exponent which is greater than 1. As you can see on the other side, we have example of non-linear expressions, and these are expressions that do have some of the characteristics I just mentioned. So the first one has two different variables, 5xy. 3x squared has an exponent different from 1 or greater than 1. Therefore, it is nonlinear. X to the fourth power minus 7 also contains an exponent which is greater than 1. And 4 over x is a fraction that has a variable in its denominator. Therefore, it's not a linear expression. Our next vocabulary word is additive inverse or additive inverses of expressions. When two expressions have a sum of 0, the expressions are additive inverses. To find the additive inverse of the expression 4x plus 2, this is our example, we should multiply the expression by negative 1. So you can see it here, see, negative 1 times 4x plus 2. Here we are going to use a distributive property to multiply coefficient by each of the terms inside of the parentheses. So we rewrite this as negative 1 times 4x plus negative 1 times 2. As a result, we obtain the product negative 4x minus 2. We can also do this mentally by finding the additive inverse of both coefficient and constants. So if we look at our original expression, the opposite of 4x would be negative 4x, and then the opposite of 2 would be negative 2. So those are two ways to find inverses of expressions. Okay, and now let's take a look at what it is to add and subtract linear expressions. Our first one, 4x minus 2 plus negative 7x minus 3. So the first thing we will do is rewrite the subtraction as an addition. So subtracting a number is the same as adding the number's additive inverse. Okay, so this is what is done here. We've got 4x plus the additive inverse of this positive 2 is negative 2. So we rewrite that. And we do the same thing in the other parenthesis. So negative 7x plus, here we have the additive inverse of positive 3 is negative 3. Next, we are going to arrange the like terms in columns, as you see here. This is helpful because you can easily see the variable terms and the constants. So 4x over negative 7x, both of these terms have variables, and then we add these to the two terms that are constants, negative 2 and negative 3. Finally, we are going to add them. We're going to do a column addition here. So 4 plus negative 7 equals negative 3x plus negative 2 plus negative 3 equals negative 5. So this would be our final expression here. Look at the second example. The first one represented an addition. The second one represents a subtraction. So we've got 6x plus 5 minus 3x minus 2. The first expression represents the minuend, or the quantity from which the second expression is subtracted. The second expression is being subtracted since subtraction is the same as adding, the additive inverse, we are going to rewrite the expression using the inverse of the coefficient and the constant. So we copy the first expression, 6x plus 5. We are going to change these from a subtraction to an addition because we're using the inverse operation. And then we're looking for additive inverses of both the coefficient and the constant. So the opposite of 3x is negative 3x, and the opposite of negative 2 here is a positive 2. Next, we arrange the terms in columns like we did in the previous example. So we have 6x plus negative 3x, and we arrange the constants in columns, 5 plus 2. We now add. So 6x plus negative 3x would be 3x, and then 5 plus 2 would be 7.